Shalom Aleichem, Moadim L'Simcha, a good moed everyone. What a beautiful schus this is. We thank you so much for joining us wherever you are all over the world. This is something that we felt so deep in our hearts that's chashuv and kedai to do for a long time. But as we got closer to Pesach and we got closer to the situation that we're all in, the gates opened, and with the help of some incredible people and with the beautiful cooperation of the incredible musicians that are with us tonight, our chaverim, our yedidei nefesh, we're privileged to get together of some sort of a kumzitz, some sort of our own type of gathering. And we're just so blessed and lucky to be doing this together with our yedidei nefesh, our dearest friends from Ish Kodesh, which we'll be speaking about a little bit later, and also the chevra from Thank You Hashem. We thank you, and we thank Hashem at the same time. And to each and every one of you, thank you so much. We really, really, really appreciate it. And thank you for being here. So you know that basically, how did this project even come about? How did it even start? Well, I'll just speak for a few minutes before we begin, get a little bit of an intro, and then what we're probably going to be doing is going song by song, how it worked out on the album, more or less, on the album Only You, which is available all over the place now, Baruch Hashem. So what we basically were privileged to bring out to the world is a chiddush, and we're so thankful for this chiddush. Approximately, it's 22, 23 years ago, my family moved back to Los Angeles, and I walked into a minyan called the Happy Minyan in Los Angeles. And behind the Amud was a chazan, was an incredible, incredible chazan, a Baal Tefillah, who was singing his heart out. He was singing his heart out. And it was nigunim that I never heard before. But I felt like I knew it my whole life. You know that feeling when you hear a nigun that you never heard before, but you know it? That's what I was feeling. The chazan, who actually later became the famous Jeff from Jeff's Gourmet, Jeff Rohatner. He was behind the Amud and he started singing. Never heard of this nigun before. But I knew that Matzasi es she'ahava nafshi, there's more here that I have to go to. I asked someone in this minyan, this isn't a Reb Shlomo nigun, whose nigun is this? They said, oh, it's someone that wrote these nigunim many years ago in Yerushalayim. His name is Michael Shapiro. I thought I was one of the only ones that ever heard him. But then, Chasdei Hashem, a few years later, I was privileged to come and spend my first Shabbos by my Rebbe, Rav Moshe Weinberger, in Kehilas Kodesh, Eish Kodesh in Woodmere. And at the Shabbos table, somehow the name of this Malchim came up, and Rebbe's eyes, like they always are, were shining bright. But Dafka, when it came to this nigunim, there was a nitzot, there was a spark, like never before. And we started singing these nigunim, which have been playing a very big role at Rebbe's Shabbos table for many years. And this goes back a long time ago. We were discussing, we got to get these nigunim out to the world. And if it wasn't for Rebbe's encouragement and all the love and support, and together with his son Ushi Weinberger, who was basically working Yom V'Layla on this, we got together finally about a year and a half ago, centered in Yerushalayim, went into the studio, and together with the chaverim that you'll be seeing tonight, we each pulled out a nigun or two, and poured out our neshamas into it. The experience in the studio, both in Yerushalayim and the chaver recording in New York, was one me'ein olam haba, not from this world, from the next world. Each and every one of us felt that we're part of something much, much bigger, much bigger. And together with some incredible sponsors, we were privileged to put out this album, Only You, which we'll talk about again a little bit later on. But I just had to start off this evening giving my akar satov to Rav Weinberger, to his family, to his wonderful kehillah that's become our family, and to each and every one of you for the tefillas together, for the davening together, for realizing that the whole reason we have Jewish music is because we need something more than whatever we were used to. We need Miskashi on a much, much, much deeper level. So the first track on the album is a song not by the composer, who we'll speak about a little bit later, but it's actually a nigun that I was privileged to compose in honor of Rav Weinberger's birthday. I think it was 2 years ago. And it's based on Rav Kook's words, Mishorer HaTshuva, poet of Tshuva, and together with Yosef Karduner and Chaim Dovid, and my dear brother Eitan, who we'll be hearing from in a second, we were privileged to put out this song. And it opens up the track because it opens up the album. And it really all has incredible hashgacha, that the nigunim of Michael Shapiro really do have an incredible way of creating the infrastructure within each and every one of us to become our own Meshorer HaTshuva. Meshorer HaTshuva הנולדת כבר, הנולדת כבר, ואם בשחקים עודנה, צדודה, שמה נשמתך, לצלול החיים. משורר התשובה, הנולדת כבר, הנולדת כבר, ואם בשחקים עודנה, צדודה, שמה נשמתך, לצלול החיים. מידע, רדה, ועורר כינורך, מידע, רדה, ועורר כינורך, ישמעו כל דקאינו, יאזינו כל הללויה, להם יד נבלך, ושבו וחיו, ישמעו כל דקאינו, יאזינו כל הללויה, להם יד נבלך, ושבו וחיו. משורר התשובה, הנולדת כבר, הנולדת כבר, ואם בשחקים עודנה, צלולה, שמה נשמתך, בצלול החיים. מידע, נדע, ועורר כינורך, מידע, נדע, ועורר כינורך, ישמעו כל דקאינו, יאזינו כל ערלי רוח להם יד לבדיך ושבו וחיו ישמעו כל דרכי יאזינו כל ערלי רוח להם יד לבדיך ושבו וחיו. It's my zchut, my privilege, and my honor to call on someone who really is closest to me, my dear brother Eitan Katz.
Everyone can hear me? All right. Good morning, everybody. Mo'adin l'simcha. All right. So this is the niggin that I had the privilege of recording on the album. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharis, Malachei Asharis, Malachei Ayoy, Emi Melech Malachei Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharis, Malachei Asharis, Malachei Ayoy, Emi Melech Malachei Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Asharis, Malachei Asharis, Malachei Ayoy, Emi Melech Malachei Amlochim, Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Malachei Ashar, Hey Ashar, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Vayachem Shalom Malachei Ashar, Hey Ashar, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Malachei Shalom, Hey Shalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Join me wherever you are. Baruch Hu Shalom Malachei Shalom, Hey Shalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Choni Shalom Malachei Shalom, Hey Shalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Choni Shalom Malachei Shalom, Hey Shalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Malachei Amelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Malachei Shalom, Hey Shalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Eschem Shalom Malachei Shalom, Hey Shalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amlochim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Malachei, Shalom Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei Amelachim. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So once again, it's an honor to be a part of this. It was an honor to be a part of the project. Just to be on the lineup of all the Menagnim Hamitim, to be on the bottom of that list, to be maybe with them is such an honor and privilege to be with, to do anything that Rav Weinberger gives us the koach to, and Bichlal, this whole world needs these types of nigunim. I'm assuming that everybody that's on this thing is aware of the album and is aware of the nigunim, and this isn't a plug just for the album. It's a plug to people connect to these types of nigunim and these types of artists. And I was asked to share one of my own humble nigunim with everybody, and I was thinking what to play. And I want to play for you a nigun that I actually wrote on my brother's porch 6-7 years ago, overlooking, Eretz Yisrael. It's a very windy day, I remember, and there's a Torah from the Moshe Rebbe, Bekitzer, by Yosef Atzadik. It says, "V'lo yachol Yosef le'isapek," and that he couldn't hold back from sharing with his brothers. What the Rebbe says, "V'lo yachol." V'lo yachol, when a person can't, when a person has nowhere to go, a person has nothing to hold on to. What's the eitzah for that person? V'lo yachol, he can't. What's the eitzah? Yosef le'isapek. Just hold on for one more minute. I don't know about you, but I'm completely losing my mind with this whole situation over here. And I'm mamish holding on to this Torah like the only thing I have is the next moment to be b'yashrus, to be with emes, to be with love, to be with a smile on my face. And Baruch Hashem, everyone should be healthy, everyone should have a refuah shlema. This nigga, the low part is Ad Masai. Until when will this mishigas end? Until when will all the tzaros end? And the answer is, until it ends, which should be by the end of the song. V'lo yachol, you can't, Yosef le'isapek. Hold on just one more minute. Don't let go, don't let go. Keep on holding tight. We don't let go, we don't let go. Keep on holding tight. Die, 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 die. I, da, 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 dee, da, die, die, die. I, die, die, I, die, die. I, da, 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 die, die. Don't let go, don't let go. Keep on holding tight. Ya'akov Klein, Ya'akov. I say, he's Shem should send bracha, refuah shleima l'cholei amcha Yisrael. We should know the Yeshua Hashem Keref Ayin Mamish tonight, Emet Hashem. Thank you, everybody. Kol tov.
Eitan, ענק אחי, יישר כוח גדול, אוהב אותך. I miss you. It's amazing. Thank you so much, אחי. The next nigun on the album is a nigun that I see that Michael is actually with us here in tonight's Zoom. So on behalf of all of us, thank you doesn't come close. And thanking Hashem, just thanking the Ribono Shleim with you listening, that the nigunim that you shared with the world reached, and Be'ez Hashem will continue to reach all of Am Yisrael, the whole world. And each and every nigun has its own charm. And the Simcha of Shalom Aleichem, like you just heard, is paired together. And this nigun, Waken in Our Hearts, is a nigun that I never in my life had an experience in the studio like singing this one. Waken in our hearts, holy song, and remove the tears that do not belong in the eyes of the children that long for you. 'Cause every life's breath is a cry for your love. Waken in our hearts, holy song, and remove the tears that do not belong in the eyes of the children that thirst for you. 'Cause every life's breath is a drink of your love. Waken in our hearts, holy song, and remove the tears that do not belong in the eyes of the children that do for you. 'Cause every life's breath is a deed of your love. Waken in our hearts, holy song, and remove the tears that do not belong in the eyes of the children that feel for you. 'Cause every life's breath is a feeling of your love. Waken in our hearts, holy song, and remove the tears that do not belong In the eyes of the children that think about you, whose every life's breath is a thought of your love. Waking in our hearts holy song, and remove the tears that do not belong. In the eyes of the children that live for you, 'cause every life's breath is life for your love. Waking in our hearts holy song, and remove the tears that do not belong. In the eyes of the children that die for you, 'cause every life's breath is death for your love. Da, 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 sing with us wherever you are. Waking in our hearts holy song, and remove the tears that do not belong. In the eyes of the children that long for you, whose every life's breath is a cry for your love. Amen. One of the beautiful things about this project, amongst other things, was Baruch Hashem, we're all chaverim. Some of us are related. We're all friends, and we all, Baruch Hashem, we're privileged to be drinking out of the same fountain of Torah for quite some time, from the Be'er Mayim Chaim, coming out of Ish Kodesh. But it only deepens certain friendships, and one of them that I had the privilege of tasting deeper is the beautiful, beautiful heart of our dear friend Rabbi Ya'akov Klein, who is with us now. And Rabbi Yaakov, Bechavod Rav.
Good morning, friends. Thank you so much for joining us. What a schus, what a privilege, what an honor. And B'roisham b'schus Rebbe and b'rishus Rebbe. I want to thank Reb Shlomo, Reb Shimon. Thank you Hashem, the Shlomo Catch Project, Ish Kodesh, everybody who was involved in making this possible. What a gift. What an honor to be able to sit together. The song that I had the privilege of recording on the album is called Shir Chadash, a new song. And the song begins with the words, Shir L'Hashem Shir Chadash Tihilasa B'Kal Chasidim. We say it every day. Sing to HaKadosh Baruch Hu a new song, Tihilasa, his praise, B'Kal Chasidim, in the gathering of the righteous. A chassid once asked Rav Mendel of Orker, how would you define a Jew? When you speak about a Jew, what is a Jew? How do you define a Jew? And he said there are three things that define a Jew. He said the first thing is that a Jew is someone who knows how to bow down even when he's standing. He said the second thing is a Jew is somebody who knows how to scream out in prayer even when he's silent. And he said the third thing is a Jew is someone who knows how to dance without moving at all. I think that our generation could add perhaps a fourth definition. Our generation and the time that we're going through now is that the Jewish nation is a nation that is able to be together even when we're apart. And that we've shown day after day, week after week, with all the Zoom meetings, Leminayhem, and everybody making time to sit together virtually. It's a shir chadash. It's a new reality. And Amir Hashem, it should end quickly. And all of those who need a refuah shlema should have a refuah shlema b'kar of mamish. But make no mistake about it that this is a kal chasidim. This is a gathering of Jews who are yearning for geula. And so I hope that wherever you are, I hope that you'll open your heart and open your lips and that you'll join me. Hallelujah, Shiru Lashem, Shir Chadash, Tehillah Soir B'Kal Chasidim, Yismach Yisrael, Be'yisrael, B'nei Zion, Yagidu B'malkom, Hallelujah, Shemai B'machor, Soy B'china, Yizamlah, Ki Ratzeh Hashem Miyamo, Vo'er HaNavim B'Yeshua. Join me. Hey, la 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 la, ma 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 ma, da na 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 na. Ay, 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 ana, ana, na, na, oh. Ah, la, na, 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 na. Didi, na, 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 na. Ay, 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 ana, ana, na, na, ma. Hallelujah, Shiru Lashem, Shir Chadash, Tehillah Soir B'Kal Chasidim, Yismach Yisrael, Be'yisrael, B'nei Zion, Yagidu B'malkom, Hallelujah, Shemai B'machor, V'soy L'china, Yizamlah, Ki Ratzeh Hashem Miyamo, Vo'er HaNavim B'Yeshua. One more time. Hey, la 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 la. Dini na na la na la. Ay 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 la na. Ah na 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 ho ho. Dini na la na la na na na. Da na 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 la na na. Ay 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 na. Ah, na, 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 na. Oh, Hallelujah, Shemai B'machor, V'soy B'china, Yizamlah, Ki Ratzeh Hashem Miyamo, Vo'er HaNavim B'Yeshua. Particularly at a time like this, these words, Ki Roitza Hashem Ba'ameh, and Rav Shlomo was mind blown from the niggin and the tenua that Michael Shapiro gifted us with. Ki Roitza Hashem Ba'ameh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu desires us. He chooses us. We begin the Seder with Kaddish. We could jump to the highest levels because we make in Kiddush, we say Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim. God chooses us. And there's no limit to the Jewish nation. Ein Mazel Yisrael. We're beyond time, beyond space. And sometimes we go through difficulties, and we're all experiencing in all of our circumstances a difficult period of time, perhaps the most difficult in our lifetime. And I bless us all, the Mashiach should come tonight and tomorrow. We should be freed from this plague. But the truth is we have to understand and to remind ourselves again and again, Ki Roitza Hashem Ba'ameh. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us. He desires us. He chooses us as we are every single split second. So I wanted to share with you one more song. This is an original composition that I was zochet to compose a few years ago with Hashem's help on the yard side of the Eish Kodesh, on the yard side of the Piyasetzner Rebbe's Chussi Yagan Aleinu. And everybody who's familiar with just the name Piyasetzner Certainly those who are friends of Eish Kodesh, anybody who's been connected to Rabbi Weinberger knows that the Piyasetzer Rebbe is the pillar of light in the darkness, is the pillar of hope in the most hopeless, the most devastating situations, is the pillar of chizuk and emunah, and he is that shining light, that lighthouse shining through the foggy night that we find ourselves in, that it's so important to connect to at this time. There are 15 stages in the Seder, and these 15 stages are the light of redemption, that light of Geula, that light of Lamala Mederach HaTeva, that light of Moichin de Gadlus, an expanded consciousness, a new way of looking at the world. Yud K, those 15. And we say, Min HaMeitzar Karasika, from our personal constriction, our circumstantial constriction, our emotional, our physical, all of our ailments, Min HaMeitzar, from this constriction, Karasika, we're calling out Yud K, we're calling out for those 15 stages of the Seder. And indeed, Anani B'Merchavka, Kadosh Baruch Hu saves us with that light of those 15 energies, that redemptive spirit of freedom. But Rabbi Nachman of Breslov taught that sometimes, like the Chabadskers sing, on the way to the bar, you also have to have a drink. Sometimes it's very difficult to hang on until we taste the Yeshua. Rabbi Nachman taught, based on the Pasuk in Tehillim, Bitzar Herchavtum. Sometimes even in a Warsaw ghetto, sometimes even in the midst of a Corona, Lahavdil, even in the midst of what we're going through now, Bitzar, Herchavtali, it behooves us to try to calculate and to try to figure out and to locate that spirit of freedom. And so let's close our eyes just for a few more moments and to try to connect to that spirit of the Eish Kodesh and the Warsaw ghetto, that pillar of chizuk, that pillar of strength. Hashem's help. Draw me one more time. Join me. la 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 la, Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We should be zecher to see the Geula Shlema Makarav. And again, everybody who needs a refuah shlema should have a refuah shlema. We should only share Basuras Toivus. And Hashem L'chaim. Thank you so much.
Rabbi Yaakov, Ashrecha. Even though I'm in Efrat in Yerushalayim, missing you like crazy. Ashrecha, thank you so much. Chevre, before we continue, I just wanted to mention that Baruch Hashem, there's so many chaverim that contributed to tonight for making it happen. And I just want to mention the sponsors. I just got the list right now. So first of all, we thank the sponsors. We begin with an appreciation of Rav Moshe Weinberger and Rav Shlomo Katz holding up the world through this Corona Nisayan and in honor of the crown, Melech Malchei Amlachim, who we know Be'emunah Shlema will bring Bekorov Berachmim, the ultimate nes of Refuah, Yeshua, and Geula, sponsored by our dearest Chaverim, Seth and Zahava Farbman. Tonight's also Leilui Nishmas Shoshana Reisel, Bas Rebbe David Dov, Rebbe Azriel ben Rebbe Yosef Tuvia, Yitzchak Aryeh ben Reb Nachum, Batia Rivka Bat Tzvi and Tova Bas Moshe, sponsored by our Heart and Soul Chaverim, sponsored by the Kram family. Leilui Nishmas Asher ben Eliezer, sponsored by the Nussbaum family of Pomona, Ashreichem. Ahavas Am Yisrael, sponsored by Alan Klinger, Yesher Koyach. The Refuah Shlema of Batsheva Shoshana Bas Yehudis, sponsored by Georgian Garfinkel. With Yearning for Mashiach, sponsored by the Blair family. Thank you so much. In memory of the Yotzet of Yaakov Yosef ben Shabsai Cohen, Shmuel Rothenberg. Generous sponsorships we have from Nachum Siegel, Aryeh Weiss, Yitzi and Kaplowitz. With love, our dearest Chaverim, someone who's literally part of everything we've been doing also, our dear friends Reb Judah and Ora Michelle. And a big hug and refuah shlema for all of Am Yisrael by our dear Chaverim here from the Kehila, Miriam and Avram Deutsch and family. In gratitude for being a part of Am Yisrael by numerous anonymous sponsors. Ashreichem, Shetisku, Sheimale Hashem Kol Mishal Eslibchem Letaiva. Thank you so much, everyone. It's a tremendous chus to have our Rebbe, our leader, our captain, share with us some divrei bracha. Rebbe, we miss you, we love you, we feel very, very close, and we hope Be'ezer Hashem Bekarov that we could be together. Baguf also.
Okay. To my dear friend, Mishara Tshuva, to Reb Shlomo, if I had wings to fly over there to be with you, together with the whole Chevra, all the Chaverim who are listening, I want to thank you, Shlomo, and the sponsors, and the Kapellia, the Mashiach's Kapellia, the choir that's going to be with Mashiach, I believe with all of my heart, are the Bali Nagina who are singing with us tonight. This is Mashiach's Chaver, Mashiach's choir. It's the music of Mashiach. I'm so thrilled to hear that Michael Shapiro has joined us. He really should be leading us. The music of Michael, in my family, me personally, goes back, must be 30, 35, 36 years ago. I was teaching in a seminary in Manhattan. Once or twice a week at night, I was teaching in the seminary. And I played some tape, some contemporary music, Jewish music, and a young woman who I'm still in touch with came over afterwards and said, Rebbe, you might want to hear this. You might want to hear something. Some like she was saying something real. And I brought back this tape. You remember the cassettes, those days we had cassettes? I brought back the cassette Beyond 12 Gates. You know, and I figured, okay, it's a sweet thing. This young woman gave this. You know, many times I get things to read, to listen to. It's not so much Nogea. But I started listening to this, and then I called over my wife. I said, we have to hear this. And we listened once, twice, nigunim. We listened for hours to Michael Shapiro, to this music. I never heard anything like it in my life. And I still haven't since then. And I don't know if Michael remembers this. I never had the chance to meet Michael. I once went looking for you, I think in Denver. And I met your Rebbitzin, but you weren't able to be there. And even though we never met, I feel like I know you for a million years. But I did once speak to you on the phone. You probably don't remember. I tracked you down. I think that maybe you were in Albany at that time. I'm not sure. But I was able to get in touch with you for a second, and I just told you that I listened to my wife and I listened to Beyond 12 Gates. We listened to it for hours, and I was crying the whole time that I was listening to it. And you said to me, I was crying the whole time that I wrote it, that I composed it. So that's what these songs are about, crying. I want to share with you a story, a little Torah story, a little Torah. The story I think that you all know, and I'm going to take the risk of making a little bit of a variation on this story. The story is the following. There was never a husband, a wife, a family, but they had a child that was seriously ill. A child that was dying. There's so many families now that are going through such sorrows. And the Malach HaMavis had made his way into this home, in this little village someplace. And the wife begged her husband to please go to see the tzaddik Rabbi Yitzchak Vorka. Now the husband, he believed in doctors. He didn't believe so much in rabbis and tzaddikim, but he believed in his wife. And he went to Rabbi Yitzchak Vorka. It was a shlep. It was a mahalach, a couple of days. And he was able to go into the tzaddik Rabbi Yitzchak Vorka. And he wrote a kvittel with the child's name. And Rabbi Yitzchak Vorka looked at the kvittel and he closed his eyes. And in those 2 or 3 minutes, he went through all worlds. Rabbi Yitzchak Vorka went through all worlds, trying to find an opening for this little boy, to find a cure for his corona. He went through all worlds. And he came back to this world and he said to the Jew, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do for you. I don't see any opening for you. It's best you go home as soon as you can, to get home very quickly. I can't help you. Hashem Yazah, the Eibusher should help you. And the man said, but my wife told me that you're a Baal Moifis, miracles. And Rabbi Yitzchak Vorka said, I know what your wife told you. I can't find any opening for you. Please, it's important you get home as soon as possible. So he went out to the road and he found a wagon that was headed east or west, wherever he was going, whatever direction. And he gets onto this wagon, figures all is lost. And all of a sudden, as the wagon is just about to move, just starting to move, Rabbi Yitzchak Vorka is running. The tzaddik's chasing the wagon. And the wagon driver stops, and Rabbi Yitzchak Vorka gets onto the wagon. And he goes over to this Jew and he says, I wanted to apologize to you. I'm so sorry. And the Jew said, Rabbi, there's nothing to be sorry about. You're not Hashem. I understand. I have no tightness. And Rabbi Yitzchak Vorka says, no, I can't help you with your child. But how is it that I didn't even cry with you? I didn't cry with you. And Rabbi Yitzchak Vorka held him. The two of them stood on that wagon, crying. And then the Yid headed back home, expecting to hear the worst news imaginable. It was a couple of days. He figured by now everything is finished. And he comes to his little place, and his wife and the children are running out to greet him, laughing and clapping, including that little boy that was sick. And they said that his wife told me he had whatever his name is, Moshe, he had a Yeshua. All of a sudden his fever broke, he had a Yeshua. And the boy's father asked, when was it? Do you know what time it was? When was it exactly when the fever broke? And she thought and she said, oh, I remember. And she said the time. And of course, it was exactly that second mamish, when Rabbi Yitzchak was crying together with him. The two are crying and holding each other. Because even though we can't always help, Sof Kol Sof, the biggest Balmai feels like Yitzchak Vorka, you can't always, it's not always an opening. We don't see right now openings. But when you feel what another Jew is going through, you cry with another Jew. So that itself can be poiled the biggest issue of all. So I was thinking these past few weeks of this story from Yitzchak Vorka, and I'm crying, along with so many Jews that have been through so much. But I wanted to make this a little bit of a change. If we could imagine, since we're holding now Nach Yantiv, after the Seder, and the bracha that I was giving everybody, Erev Pesach, was to say with all of your heart, that Hashem is Baruch, please come here and shecht forever the Malach HaMavis. So we could sing the Shir Chadash, so we could sing the Shir Chadasha, that new song. So I was thinking, if you ask me what's different about the music of my Chaverim that are singing here with us tonight or on the album, what's different about their music? Well, all the Jewish musicians are wonderful, they're all Tyree and dear and precious Jews. What is it about, in particular, about this Chaver that you're listening to that's part of this world? What's different is that they can come running after the wagon. They could jump on the wagon with you and they could say to you, listen, I'm no tzaddik, I don't know how to help you, but can I share a song with you? I want to sing with you a song. It's a new kind of song. It's a song that reaches into the deepest part of the neshama. These are Michael's songs. These are the songs of Shlomo and Eitan, of Chaim Dovid, of Ya'akov Klein, of ZUSHA, Shlomo, of Yosef Karduner, of Chaim Dovid, of Dovid'l, of these dear and precious friends of mine. They run after the wagon and they climb up on the wagon and they say, look, I already cried a lot with you. But now, you know what? I want to sing with you a song. And I believe with all of my heart, whoever's listening, I believe that there are songs that could be sung that could bring mamish, a Yeshua, that could change the whole world. So of course, the whole need of Mashiach is that he's the Meshayar HaTshuva, the singer, the poet of Tshuva, with a song to change the whole world, mamish with a song, to lift the heart of a person. The whole world is now so sad, so tzabrach, and so frightened, so nervous. You know, there are two kinds of songs that we have from David HaMelech. There's certain kapitluch that are kapitluch of the David Mizmar. Like we said this morning, the David Mizmar. And then you have other kapitluch that are Mizmar LeDavid. And Chazal tell us the difference. Sometimes David HaMelech was mamish, overflowing with happiness. He was on fire. He was in a great place. And his madrega, which we can't imagine, David HaMelech was really David. And then from that unbelievable David, there came forth a song. With David was filled with Ruach HaKodesh, Chazal say. Shara Sela Ruach HaKodesh. And then he sang a song, Mizmor. Unbelievable. But then there are other times that David was not David. He couldn't come to himself. He had a hard life, David HaMelech. He went through a lot of sorrows and Magafis. He couldn't come to himself. So what did David HaMelech do? At those moments of life where he couldn't draw the Ruach HaKodesh, he wasn't himself. He couldn't. He was stuck. So then we have the Kabbalah that don't start with David, because David was not David. It begins with what? Mizmor David. David would begin to sing. He would begin to sing, even though he felt at the beginning of the song so far away. Mizmor David, Hashem Roi Le'echsa. Gam Ke'ela Begeit Samav Esli Ron. And from that, David HaMelech would come from the song. The song would bring him, would return him, and bring him back to David, to Ruach HaKodesh. Through the song, he would come back to himself. He would begin with singing in darkness in a broken place, the gates are marvelous, mamish. But through the mizmar, he would come back to being David. So I'll just share with you a tiny little story. About the tzaddik, the Rebbe Baruch Meshbitzer, who was a descendant of David HaMelech. Baruch Meshbitzer was the Baal Shem Tov's grandson, the uncle of Rabbi Nachman Tzchusi, tzaddikim. Rabbi Baruch Meshbitzer, tzaddik Yisod Elam. Baruch Meshbitzer said that, when I leave the world at 120, I have very strong doubts if they're going to let me in to Gan Eden. I have very strong doubts. So I'm going to come there to that place by the Shar of Gan Eden, by the gate of Gan Eden. There's strong malachim there, and they watch who comes in, and they're going to tell me, who are you, what are you? And I'm going to say, Baruch from Meshbitzer, because I'm sorry. You can't come in here. So it's going to be a terrible sorrow, a terrible sorrow for me. So what am I going to do? So Baruch said, what am I going to do? I'm going to do the same thing I did throughout my entire life when there was no opening, when I couldn't get in. I'm going to take out my Tillim, and I'm going to say Tillim. But the way that I say Tillim is different. Once I start to say my Tillim outside of the gates of Gan Eden, David HaMelech is going to hear from inside, and he's going to wonder, how could it be that outside of Gan Eden, outside of paradise, how could it be that there's such a song of my Tillim that's being offered? And the David HaMelech is going to come out. He's going to sit with me and sing Tillim together with me. And if David HaMelech comes out, then the others are going to come out, Moshe Weinberger and the Baal Shem Tov HaKadosh, Rashi and the Rambam. So then Baruch Meshbitzer says, so then why do I have to go into Gan Eden? If all the tzaddikim are sitting with me where I am outside of Gan Eden. So that place itself will be Gan Eden. And we'll sing in that place. So Chevra, right now we feel like we're outside of Gan Eden. We feel like we're in an Eis Sarah. So what does a Jew do? Mizmor L'David, we sing songs. The songs that were handed down to us, the new songs that are being brought down to us. We sing these songs. And even though we feel like we're mamish sometimes now, Chalila, in the opposite place of Gan Eden, but what's the nafka mina? When a Jewish heart is broken, and when Jews are crying, and when Jews are singing, so then the Melech comes out, and the Baal Shem Tov comes out. And then you know what? It becomes Gan Eden where we are. And in that place where we are right now, wherever you are, Jews, whoever I'm speaking to now, wherever you are, in this place that we're in right now, of Emunah, of Gan Eden being together with Hashem, we're singing and we're hearing songs and we're offering up songs together. We have to believe that all the tzaddikim are coming, are with us in our place outside of Gan Eden. It's a nafka mina. It'll be a Gan Eden over here. And if we could make it a Gan Eden over here, then Bez Hashem, the gates to Yerushalayim are going to open up. Remember Chaim Dovid's song, Open Up, Open Up? The gates of Yerushalayim are going to open up, and all of us are going to return. There's going to be refus, and yeshus, and nechamas. We could never, ever have dreamt of in a million years what we're going to see. And all of us are going to gather together. We're going to say, hey, were you at the Kumzis, were you at the concert, that first night of Chalamoid, were you there? And we'll say, yeah. And the other Jews, what was it? And we'll sing something in the Gun, and we're going to march into Yerushalayim with the Baruch Shalom's Kapelli, with the Baruch Shalom's choir, with the Chavi you're listening to. And we're going to sing over there, Ashira Chadash, Agula Seinu, Abedus Nafsheinu. So we're asking Hashem, Shuva Aleinu B'Hamayim Rachamech. Biglal Avos She'osu V'Tzanach, B'nei V'Yisroke V'Atchila, V'Choynein Megdash Chal V'Choynai, V'Hareinu B'Vinyana V'Samcheinu B'Sikuna. V'Samcheinu B'Sikuna, we should be Zerchim with Hashem, Keherafayim. K'mitzes Ch'mashasayim, Eren on the flows.
Rebbe, thank you. Toda mikol halev. Thank you so much. we're all wishing the Rebbe and his whole mishpacha a beautiful, beautiful rest of Yontiv, and only good news and only good health, Be'ez Hashem B'Sad D'Shmaya. And we thank you for everything, the things we know about and the things we don't know about. Thank you so much. One of the people that has a front row seat to see this whole Ve'har'einu Bevinyana, that we've been privileged together to be on his porch, many of us, but someone who's mamish been there, opening up the gates for many of us for so many years. And one of your Talmidim Mevakshim, with such a schus to call upon our Yedid Nefesh, Chaim Dovid to share with us and open our hearts.
Thank you, Rav Shlomo. Thank you, Harav, Shlita, Ravitson, for your work, for your encouragement, for your chesed and beauty. Feel so far from your home, it's not such a long journey. God is inside of you. It waits, but don't wait too long. Mind so far from the heart, big things and act as strangers. Peace and be as one, lovers of the one King. Don't be afraid if love's around you. Though you may feel alone, and within the soft voice calls you. Return home. return home. And within you, sides call you. Return home. My esteemed Rebbe Weinberger Shlita and Rebbetzin Weinberger, Amush, Admevis Shana. It's a special honor and privilege to have been able to take part in this project with dear Rav Shlomo Katz Shlita, and the beautiful, sensitive work that he did, and all the lineup of such exceptional singers, musicians, and mashpiyim in the whole world of Yiddishkeit today, in this very, very amazing time we're living. Just thinking a little bit today that, the name Michael Shapiro, whose songs we are singing and doing the best we can, which I hope is fitting for such elevated and gorgeous pieces of music. But we as a young couple, like Penny and myself, in the old city, growing up with our little children and our family, Michael Shapiro was always in the cassette player. You know, cassettes, you know what it is. And to be part of our repertoire, very strong Erev Shabbos. Whenever we needed inspiration, those are the songs we would listen to. And the depths, the tunes. As you saw in the album, the Rebbe spoke to him and said that, when you heard his music, it brought tears, such deep tears to your eyes. And he said, yes, and Rav, same is true for me. When I was making the music, tears were coming out of my eyes. And boy, I know what it means when I'm on a really good moment musically, then Baruch Hashem, we can feel that. So anyway, just wanted to share that we grew up with the music of Michael Shapiro. It really was part of our, what the word is, a coming back, a coming home. And just like God brought me this great privilege to be here, overlooking Harabais, that please Hashem should open up our hearts and truly see the place of the Beit HaMikdash, and not just a place, but a reality. Very soon should be a big change of many changes here that we're so much waiting for. And Gewalt, Mazel Tov, in this beautiful event. Good Yontiv, Good Moed, Simchas to the whole Am Yisrael, Refuah Shlema to everybody who is in need of a Refuah. There are a lot out there who need some very strong Refuah. Please Hashem is Baruch should open up the gates. Yishlach Ezracha Mikodesh, U'mitzion Yisadeko. A good Yontiv, a good Yor, Mamish Geula Shlema. I was going to sing thank you for all this attention, so special. I just was going to sing a different song, but at this point I'm thinking that I remember my very first visit to the Rebbe's house in Woodmere was a Shabbos that I was accompanied by one of the sponsors, Rav Judah Michel Shlita, and he brought me and he organized the Shabbos in Malka, I believe, that Shabbos. And so I was going to change my plan. I'm going to sing a song that I know that Rav Judah very much likes. So I'm going to sing it in his honor because it was my first manager. he started the ball rolling for me in those beautiful days when we started to get close to the Rebbe and the Eish Kodesh. So this is for Eish Kodesh, of course, and the Judah, and everybody else who might know the song. Thank you so much. Good morning, good morning. Everybody feel well. Everybody be happy. What a privilege, what a joy to be together. Thank you, thank you. Thanks, Rav Shlomo. What a great job you're doing. Thank you so much.
Chaim Dovid, Ashecha. Always directly, exactly to what each vitamin that we need. Thank you. Thank you so much. I love you. A good moed. Chevra, the Chevra we're going to be hearing from right now have such a big shlichus today in Am Yisrael. They're doing so much good. And they're having so many Yidden that are crying with them, opening their heart with them. It's a schus to introduce and invite and say thank you to our dear Chaverim from ZUSHA, to Shlomo Gezen, and to Zechariah. I think we're going to hear from Shlomo first. The Heilige Chosen. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much for this golden opportunity to connect the Klal Yisrael. Mamish, 865 neshamas right now, all connected, and then all the people in the room, so even more. 864 mishpachos. So I want to travel back a few years ago, maybe 4 years ago. I was with Shlomo Katz, and we were in Mea Sha'arim, deep in Breslov Mea Sha'arim, and we entered the home of one of Rav Shlomo Carlebach's first neshamas that he brought close, that he was zecher to be a part of bringing close. His original name was Eli Scott, who became Eliyahu Sukkot. And Shlomo was going to pick up a beautiful piece of art. But as we were leaving, and I think this is really a key of his words, he made a suggestion. He said, I know you're both musicians, right? And he said, yeah. And he said, and you have to understand everything he says takes you to the 1960s. And like there's the wind is flowing and there's flowers everywhere and it's beautiful. So, and he said, I want you to know that, you know, many musicians of the Goyish Welt, what they do is they just kind of self-aggrandize, do their own thing, and they live on their own, and all they care about is themselves. And he said, I request of the two of you to make an effort to connect with other Yidden and to connect with other Jewish musicians. The only thing you could do is help. And I think that this is really key of Eliyahu Sukkot's words, which would be Mechazekim and all of Klal Yisrael. And I was thinking if Rav Nachman said that it's a tikkun kvali to gather 10 little kapitel tehillim together, can you imagine we're all, you know, gazillion kapitel tehillim, and we're all gathering together. And we're not just asar minei negina, 10 different songs, but we're also asar minei menagnim. And we're coming together, and I think it's a big, big tikkun for the klal, for the whole klal of Jewish music, but more importantly, Jewish music is enriching Jewish neshamas. So it's really a big tikkun aklali for our neshamas to be together, and Zachai and I feel privileged and honored. And you know, the Alter Tasheva says that by way of inextricably bonding ourselves, be'emunas tzadikim, we draw the Gula closer. So to connect with our umanus, be'emunah shlema, to our Rebbe of Moshe Weinberger, for such a beautiful cause in something that he has emunah in. So emunas tzadikim and what the tzadikim are ma'amin in, then I think it's obviously bringing the Gula closer. And since I don't have a kli, I'm going to sing, and as my wife likes to say, I'm going to be the kli. I'll be the kli shir. So apologies that I don't play guitar. Mimale kol almin, v'soivev kol almin, mi baladecha, ein shum metzius klal. Mimale kol almin, v'soivev kol almin, mi baladecha, ein shum metzius klal. Mimale kol almin, v'soivev kol almin, mi baladecha, ein shum metzius klal. Mimale kol almin, v'soivev kol almin, mi baladecha, ein shum metzius klal. My Lord, you fill all worlds and surround all worlds. And Lord, without you, there is no world at all. My Lord, you fill all worlds and surround all worlds. And Lord, without you, there is no world at all. Lord, you fill all worlds and surround all worlds. And Lord, without you, there is no world at all. Lord, you fill all worlds and surround all worlds. And Lord, without you, there is no world at all. Mimale kol almin, v'soivev kol almin, mi baladecha, ein shum metzius klal. Mimale kol almin, v'soivev Oyevev kol ha'almin Mibaladecha Ein shum tziyus klau Memale kol almin V'soivev kol almin Mibaladecha Ein shum tziyus klau Memale kol almin V'soivev kol almin Mibaladecha Ein shum tziyus klau. I want to introduce my dear friend Zachariah, and it's a big zechus to make music with a chaver. There's always a chiver. And it's Hashem. Good luck with that, Zachariah.
Shkoyach, Reb Shlomo. I was just thinking real quick that, trying to connect this to the Pesach. It's one thing to think in your mind that you love your wife. And it's a completely different thing to tell her that you love her. And it's one thing to think in your mind that you love your children. And it's a whole new world when you mamish tell your children that you love them. And it's one level to mamish think in your mind that you believe in Mashiach. And it's a completely different universe when you tell Hashem that we're ready for Mashiach, that we want Mashiach, that we're here. And that's what Pesach is all about, which is the difference between thinking something in your head and mamash sharing with the world. And so Mashiach comes from the language of siach, which means to have a conversation. Which Pesach brings us to Mashiach, which means that Mashiach is like, he brings us that not only should I speak, but you should also speak. It should be a conversation. So I know I can't hear everyone, but I know everyone's speaking right now. And but the main thing is that Hashem can hear us. So if you could join us, or join me, join all of Am Yisrael and sing the song. To Jerusalem, Baby Yasam Mashiach, Baby Yasam Mashiach, Ani Ma'amin, Ayay, Baby Yasam Mashiach, Baby Yasam Mashiach, Ani Ma'amin. Ani ma'amin ve'yamuna emuna shemeima. For the holy Jewish children, Ani ma'amin ve'yamuna emuna shemeima. You know, when you think about Mashiach, it's like, Mamash, you want Mashiach, but how much more so do you want your kids to grow up in the world that's Mashiach? This one's for the holy Jewish children, and thank you to everyone for making this happen. B'viyas HaMashiach, B'viyas HaMashiach, Ani ma'amin, ayay, B'viyas HaMashiach, B'viyas HaMashiach, Ani ma'amin, Ani ma'amin. Why, Shekoyach. I remember sitting with you guys way before. Hayinu kecholmim, ashreichem. You should continue to reach the hearts and souls of so many hungry neshamas, to long for Mashiach, to cry for Mashiach, to daven for Mashiach, tzidkenu, bekarav mamish, yavo linu, like Chaim Dovid says, kvar achshav, should happen now already. Another holy brother, a yidela, a dear Rav, a chaver who Yerushalayim has missed so much, and he's back home right now, back home in Yerushalayim, is someone whose contribution to this album, I wouldn't call it a contribution, I would call it a spitz. It was so what was needed at the right moment. When I called him, I said, listen, we're almost done with this, but please, can you run to my brother, to Eitan's studio in Far Rockaway? He's in New Jersey. He's in the middle of some intense treatments. So can you please share your heart and go on the album? In a second, he did. And right after we had a demo of the song which he sang so beautifully. So Rebbe called me, Rav Weinberger called me in tears, in tears. And it really became a degel for this album. So I'm so thankful to Ribono Shel we have the zchus to hear and daven with our dear Chaver, Rav Dovid'l Weinberg. Only you, Rav Dovid'l. Only you.
Good night, everyone. Everyone, each individual person. It's hard to see everyone's face at the same time right now. But a lot of my Rebbeim are here. Those who we've already heard from, and those who we'll still hear from, and those who we won't hear from. But there's a lot of people here who I love. And especially to be able to be here together with all the chevra from the album, which we recorded for a lot of different reasons, one of which was to give kavod to our Rebbe, to Rav Weinberger, and to be able to catch a glimpse of his face for a few minutes in Chol Moed, to Mekabel Pnei Rabbeinu Beregel. The great Rosh Hashiva of Hutner said that being Mekabel Pnei Rebbe doesn't mean understanding the shir, it means being able to catch a glimpse of the Iker Nakuda of what the Rebbe is all about. It's not just the shir, being able to be mecharish in the shir, but it's being able to see deep into the person who's giving the Torah, the Hu Haya Omer, to be able to see the person for who he really is. And if there's anything that I think some of us have learned in the course of recording this album and listening to this album and hearing Rebbe give shirim as a hemshech of this album, turning the tefillah into Torah and the Torah into tefillah, it's that these words, which we'll sing together, please God, right now, are what it means to be Makabel Pnei Rabbeinu, of Moshe Weinberger, and really what our door is seeking at the end of time, as we're the last few minutes before we're going to welcome Pnei Mashiach Tzidkenu. play one more song with a 30-second introduction. Like Shlomo said, I was spending the past year and a half in and out of hospital getting treatment. And one memory that I think frames a lot of our experience over the past few weeks is when I was in the middle of getting a bone marrow transplant. It seems like it was just yesterday. It was already almost 9 months ago, closer to 10 months. And in the middle of being in the hospital, at a certain point, I had the great privilege of being visited by my daughter, Noah, who was sitting on the steps over there very patiently, trying not to giggle. And I asked one of the nurses if she would be kind enough to detach me from the IV drip and from some of the other scary machines so that I could just go out to Noah and, be there like an Abba. And I remember, mamish, like it was yesterday, I walked out and I was in communication with my wife, with my Rebbitzin, when they were coming up the elevator, and they unplugged me from the IV drip and from the other things, and I got dressed in my regular clothing. And I was still nervous about one thing because my immune system was mamish at 0. I had an immune system of 0.0. And I needed to wear a mask, like so many people are having to wear now. And when I was leaving my room, anytime I left my room was quarters where I didn't have to wear a mask. If someone came in, they had to wear a mask. But if I left, I had to wear a mask. And as I left, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't wearing the mask when I would see my daughter, just for that first few seconds so that she would see it's me. And then afterwards, I could put on the mask. And as they were coming around the corner, I was like standing by the door, peeking out. And finally, they turned the corner, and I came out of my room, and I poked my head out, and I gave my daughter a big smile. And after I gave her a big smile, I said, look at this funny mask that Abba has to wear. It's really silly, and it's to protect me, to make sure. And then we were able to speak in that way. And I was thinking that Hashem does that all the time. Whenever we have a scary thing like we're all going through right now, and even my own personal thing in the past year and a half, and now what our entire nation and the entire cosmos is going through this interesting cocoon that we're all in right now, to turn into a butterfly, to have wings to fly. This whole thing that we're going through, there are so many different ways that Hashem smiled before. And now there's a Hester Panim, and there's a mask. And the mask is serious, and there's people who are hurting. But Hashem is giving us the opportunity to be able to be together and to have these ways of being able to be connected, which 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we wouldn't have had. So these are the smiles that Hashem gave us before He put on the mask. And it's Hashem soon, just like I took off the mask, Hashem will take off the mask. We'll be able to smile again together with the Ribbon Shalom, with each other, in the way like it was. So this song I'm going to sing right now is a song with the words from the Mujitzer about the koach of tshuva and nigid together. Follow along.
Rav Dovid'l, thank you so much. Thank you. I'm so happy you're home. We all feel it. All of Am Yisrael feels it. You should have so many more years of being healthy and happy. B'simcha, you and your beautiful, precious children and your wife. And it's such a schus to have you with us tonight. Thank you so much. Mamash yishar koach. The next person we have the privilege of davening with is one of my closest chaverim in the world. Someone who's one of my teachers and a friend and a teacher to Am Yisrael, who was so happy to come and join and be part of this project the second that I asked him. And he actually knew exactly which nigun he wanted to do also, which he ended up doing. So it's my schus to invite my dear chaver, Rabbi Raz Hartman.
Okay. So, 28 years ago, 29 years ago, I also heard one of those cassettes that everybody's talking about. My teacher, Nathan Greenberg, he said, here, you should listen to this. And I also, it just opened my neshama legamrei. And this nigun, it's called Harvest Song, but it's a nigun that I've sung many times for Leil Shabbat, and it's a big zchut to sing it with you tonight, B'ezrat Hashem. So the truth is, the nigunim are the deepest without the words, but I just want to share with you one little thing from Rav Kook, beautiful teaching that I learned a few years ago. And Rav Kook says like this, he says, the beginning of the Seder, we always say this line that nobody understands, right? Say, here's the night we're celebrating freedom, and we say, Hashata Avde, this year we're slaves. The Shana Abba Bnei, next year we'll be free. Hashata Hacha, this year we're here, next year in Eretz Yisrael. And it's just a strange thing. As you're starting the Seder, you're supposed to be free. What do you mean? What are we saying? We're slaves. So Rav Kook says, every year we get to Seder and we know we're free. But the part of the freedom is knowing there's so much more freedom, so much more to go. And so Hashata Avde, we picked on because we're so free, we know, we could be freer. But he says, when somebody says that in Eretz Yisrael, when we, the people, are zoche to live in Eretz Yisrael, we say that, it opens up a gate for all those people who are not yet in Eretz Yisrael to say, Hashata Hacha, Shana Badar Yisrael. If I can say, you know what, Ribono Shel Olam, thank you so much for bringing me to the land, for bringing me to the holiness, but there's so much more. That opens the door for somebody and for all of the people who are joining us here, and maybe, many more people who, we're here now, but next year we're going to be in Eretz Yisrael. We opened the door because everybody knows there's so much more to yearn for. So I want to bless us all to have that tefillah, Shata Hacha, whether we're here in Eretz Yisrael, whether we're here in New York, wherever we are, to say Lashana Haba, we should all be B'Eretz Yisrael. We should all be healthy. And I want to sing with you one more song, and really this is for all the people who are sick and all the people who are going through troubles. And I know all over the world, Jews are going through troubles and the world is going through troubles, but I want to share this tefillah that I'm going to sing with you. And it's for everybody. And I want to specifically mention a teacher who I'm sure we're all mushpah from, and I know we're all received so much from, who needs tefillot now, Rav Chaim Menachem Ben Leah, Chaim Kramer. We should really daven for him. He should have refuah shlema mamash maher. And I want to sing. All of us, let's daven together. I don't know, sing. Jews don't sing. Jews daven. So the one thing we always need, is mitzapim Yeshua, really, really yearning for Yeshua. And I want to share with you this song that I was zoche to receive at YU in New York, in Rav Weinberger's Tehillah. So.
Rav Raz, thank you. מעומק הלב, תודה רבה. תודה רבה על הזכות שנזכה כולנו ללכת לאורם של כל הצדיקים, to the light of all the tzaddikim that we draw from. That place should be from Simcha and for Refuah Shlema to everyone, Bezrat Hashem. And specifically, like Rav Raz mentioned, our dear friend and teacher of Chaim Kramer, who really needs our tefillas right now, Chaim Menachem ben Leah. Die, 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 die. Da 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 da. Die 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 da 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 da. באהבה סודה אהבתיך, על כן משכתיך חסר. באהבה סודה אהבתיך, על כן משכתיך העורדי ימושו והגבעות תמותנה בחסדי, מיתך לא ימות. העורדי ימושו והגבעות תמותנה בחסדי, מיתך לא ימות. An everlasting love, I have loved you, for this I have drawn you with my love. An everlasting love, I have loved you, for this I have drawn you with my love. The mountains will crumble and the hillside will fade away, but my love for you will not end. The mountains will crumble and the hillside will fade away, but my love for you will not end. Biachad everyone, da 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 da. Oh yeah, do 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 do, da da da, do do do, da 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 da. Oh yeah, do 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 do, da da da, do do do. Solam ahavti al kein mishachti chased. If you don't stop that nigun soon enough, then you're with it for a few hours. So, Michal, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you for sticking with us, Chevra. We have the privilege of ending off tonight's program. Ending off tonight's Mariv, Hallel, Musaf, Ne'ilah, whatever you want to call it. We have the privilege of ending it tonight with Rabbi Yosef Karduner.
מועדים לשמחה, חגים וזמנים לששון, לכל השומעים, כל הרואים. אני רוצה להגיד שזו זכות בשבילי גדולה מאוד להשתתף בדיסק הזה שיצא לכבוד הרב הצדיק, רב משה ויינברגר שליטה, ובהפקתו של רב שלמה כץ, הפקה נפלאה של רב שלמה כץ. בפרט השיר הזה, השיר הזה ורזתיך לי, שמדבר על הגאולה העתידית, ורזתיך לי לעולם. הקדוש ברוך הוא מבטיח שאחרי כל הגלויות וכל הניסיונות וכל הקשיים שעברנו, הוא מבטיח שהוא ירס אותנו לעולם, ורזתיך לי בצדק ובמשפט ובחסד ורחמים, ורזתיך לי באמונה וידעת את השם, אז נדע מי זה הקדוש ברוך הוא, עד כמה הוא גדול. וראיתי בליקוטי הלכות משהו, כמה מילים, שהגאולה האחרונה תגדל מאוד, עד שלא יהיה נזכר כל כך תוקף הניסים של הגאולה הראשונה. הגאולה הראשונה של יציאת מצרים, היא לא תהיה ניכרת כל כך, לעומת הגאולה האחרונה שתהיה, בעזרת השם, במהרה בימינו הניסים יהיו כל כך גדולים, נדע את השם באמת, במהרה בימינו, אמן. ורזתיך לי לעולם, ורזתיך לי צדק ומשפט ובחסד ורחמים, ורזתיך לי לעולם, ורזתיך לי בצדק ובמשפט ובחסד ורחמים, ורזתיך לי באמונה וידעת את השם, ורזתיך לי באמונה אספר סיפור קצר שראיתי בשבחי הבעל שם טוב, רבנו ישראל הבעל שם טוב זכר צדיק וקדוש לברכה. פעם אחת הגיע לעיר שהיה בעל שם טוב שמה, הגיע איזה דרשן לבית הכנסת והתחיל לדרוש, ודיבר בגנותם של עם ישראל. הבעל שם טוב מאוד כעס, הוא ראה את זה, הוא ידע את זה, הוא מאוד כעס, ונודע שהוא כעס, אז שלחו שליחים לשם להגיד שהבעל שם טוב לא מרוצה. ולאט לאט התחילו אנשים בבית המדרש לחזור חזרה לבית אחד אחד, ונותר הדרשן הזה לבד. אז אותו דרשן שאל מה קרה, אז אמרו לו שהבעל שם טוב לא מרוצה מזה שהוא דיבר, לא מרוצה ממשהו. אז הוא הלך לבעל שם טוב, לשאול אותו מה קרה. הבעל שם טוב אמר לו, אתה יודע שכשיהודי שמגיע דמדומי חמה, סוף היום, הוא זורק את כל העסקים שלו, כל הזה שלו, הוא נכנס לאיזה חדר, נסגר באיזה חדר, מתפלל תפילת מנחה, הוא אפילו לא יודע בכלל מה שהוא אומר, אבל כל העולמות רועדים ממנו, ואתה מעז לדבר נגד דמותם של ישראל. אז רואים פה כמה עם ישראל, כל מה שעושים, כל המצוות שעושים, כל הפסח, 4 כוסות, כל המצוות, כל זה דברים גדולים, נדרים שאנחנו, ואפילו שאנחנו לא מבינים מה שאנחנו עושים, אבל בשמיים יש רעש גדול מזה. השיר הבא שאני רוצה לשיר בעזרת השם, מתוך הדיסק החדש שיצא לפני כשבועיים, הדיסק נקרא השעה 1, השיר נקרא מה אשיב להשם, מתוך ההלל, מה אשיב להשם כל תגמולוי עליי, כוס אישות אשא ושם השם יקרא, נדרי להשם השלם, נגדנה לכל עמו, אני אספר לכולם, לכולם, את החסידים שהקדוש ברוך הוא עושה איתי. יקר בעיני השם, המפתה לחסידיו, זה יקר לקדוש ברוך הוא, לקחת את החסידים שלו, לקחת אותם חס ושלום. אנא השם, אנחנו מתחייבים לקדוש ברוך הוא, אנא השם, כי אני עבדך בנעמתך, פיתחת למוסריי, פיתחת לי מכל הצרות, מכל הדברים שקשים עליי. ועוד קטע אחד מליקוטי הלכות, מרבנו רבי נתן, ורב טליר, צדיק צדיק וקדוש לברכה, שעל יהודה, שיצא ממנו המשיח בן דוד, אז לאה, אמו אמרה, הפעם אודה את השם. השם של יהודה, שממנו יצא משיח, זה נאמר על ההודעה, הפעם אודה את השם. לכן יקרא שמו יהודה על שם תודה והודאה, וזה רמז רבי נתן אומר, שעיקר קץ הגאולה האחרונה, ובבחינת תודה והודאה, שזה נזכה בעזרת השם, במהרה בימינו אמן. חג שמח, מה שיר, מה שיר השם, מה שיר השם, כל תגמולוי עליי, מה שיר, מה שיר השם, מה שיר השם, כל תגמולוי עליי. כוס ישועות אשא, ובשם השם אקרא, ובשם השם אקרא. כוס ישועות אשא, ובשם השם אקרא, ובשם השם אקרא. מה שיר, מה שיר השם, מה שיר השם, כל תגמולוי עליי. מה שיר, מה שיר השם, מה שיר השם, כל תגמולוי עליי. כוס ישועות אשא, ובשם השם אקרא, ובשם השם אקרא. כוס ישועות אשא, ובשם השם אקרא, ובשם השם אקרא. נדרי להשם השלם נגדלה לכל עמו יקר בעיני השם המבטח לחסידה אנא השם כי אני עבדך בנעמתך פיתחת למוסרה בשם השם נקרא, בשם השם נקרא כוס ישועות אשא ובשם השם נקרא, בשם השם ובשם השם ובשם השם נקרא בשם השם ובשם השם ובשם השם נקרא.
Rav Yosef Shikoyach, Rav Yosef Karduner, thank you so much. I want to thank from the bottom of my heart our dear Chaver Shimon Detweiler behind the scenes over here for making this all happen. Yesher Koach Shimon. I also want to thank from the bottom of my heart, again, I want to thank Moshe Weinberger for everything he did for this album and Bezrat Hashem for the next album of Michal's Nigunim, which please God, the gate should open and we should continue weiter forward with. From the Shul in Eish Kodesh, our dear Chaverim that played a very big role, Shmuel Septimus, Azriel Gans, Jay Gelman, there are many more, but those were the Chaver I was in touch with throughout the whole process. Each and every one of the musicians that you saw tonight over here, Toda Rabba Mikol Lev, everyone was so beautiful, it was so zis, it was so special. And each and every one of you that were with us tonight and that will be watching this later on, we thank you and we hope we have many more opportunities to come together. Like Raz said before, Jews don't sing, they daven, they pray. Just a lot more tefillahs. The gate should open. Shbira Fuah Shlema for everyone. And like my brother began with saying, there should be absolute true Yeshuas v'nechamas for all of Am Yisrael and for the whole world. We thank you so much and looking forward to so much more. A good Moed. Shavua Tov and Chag Sameach, everybody.